So where are we now?
We are. Okay, after
or do you have more on the Shredder?
I think that was the only Shredder.
Yeah, he has he has the speech.
My next one is for when the turtles.
And of course, the kid has already seen some freaky thing in a mirror.
These turtles.
And the kid is looking for acknowledgement. Yes. The kid is looking for some sort of love and admiration that he feels his father never gave him. And he walks up and says, "Sir, I'm about to earn that loyalty because I really want that bandana thing."
Yeah. He gets that damn
because that guy fucking bomb-ass stole a TV and he got a bandana and a mask. Can I at least get a bandana for telling you where fucking freaks live?
Yeah.
And Shredder was like,
and
yes.
especially after Shredder basically gives an "I am your father" fucking speech to everybody.
Yeah. And then he's like,
"Oh, Daddy,
I know where the turtles are." And
I know where freaks live.
And he's like, "Wait, come here. Here's your bandana. Where they at? In the sewer right here." He's like, "When do I get a mask?"
No,
when
he told him April's apartment.
April's apartment. And then he's like, "Here's your bandana." And the kid could be like, "Well, where's my mask at?" "Not so you still bomb ass TV."
You gotta be able to fucking really take a TV.
Yeah.
Until then, the bandana.
You gotta earn the fucking the clothes and the mask and the bandana. That's effort. That's the clothes. Discipline. That's stealing bomb-ass TV. You know you had to have skills to get that. That right there, that's the mask.
I don't want you
Loyalty, that's that bandana.
I don't want... loyalty is what you got, but the other two you're still working on.
Yep.
I don't want you going to no fucking Walmart and stealing a TV. That doesn't take effort.
It's not bomb-ass
like
the dude that jumps fucking 4 stories off the fucking...
I need this! He's like, and that old lady's probably just watching some crappy TV. He probably can barely see the fucking the show she's watching, and that guy's like, "I don't care, you have it."
I don't know. When I was a kid, my grandma had a TV that big, only that one was the old style where it had the button that you had to, the knob you had to pull to turn the motherfucker on.
And it had to be plugged in, though.
Yeah, and when you wanted to change a channel, you had to...
But it had to be plugged in. That bitch had some
hers
sort of...
actually did have a battery pack on it for emergency.
Oh, my God.
So she kept it plugged in, but you could put, a few Ds in there, and it would run in emergency. That was it.
So where are we at now?
Let's see.
I think April's doing her interview.
Pissed off about the broken deal because she does the interview being like, "Once again, please, Chief Stearns, sucks a dick."
What are you doing? I told you to shut her up. I'm the cliche angry cop.
Oh, by the way, at this point, we are introduced to another reporter.
Yeah.
She is April. This girl is June.
Mm-hmm.
The highest paid reporter in New York is named May.
And Shane gets it finally.
Yep.
They're the months.
Yeah.
Where's July?
I think the reporters in this...
There might be a June.
Kind of like in Dragon Ball Z, Saiyans are named after vegetables.
These guys are...
I think that's the idea. I think it's kind of a running...
Hey, February, where you at?
But the next thing I got is, for me, the lip flaps were getting weird compared to what they're actually saying at this point. It's like they're not matching up with what they're actually saying on the voiceovers. So it's like
I was noticing that from the very beginning of the movie because they're animatronics.
Yeah.
They don't actually have lips.
There's sometimes where it does make sense, and other times
be scary.
Other times where it's like, okay, that one was just this looked right. This one is not making sense.
Also, you've got to understand that we already know from seeing it the actors that spoke are not the actors that. Yeah, right. Those things were voiceover. So at some point,
ADR
voice
like
acting was put in, and it might not have been matched well.
They probably didn't have enough time to match it up because they had a
or
release
the
date.
acting was better on the voice actor side, and the lips were meant to match the guy that didn't act very well.
Possible,
right. Which is possible.
In fact, that's what happens in Final Fantasy X. It was all done in Japanese, and they could not change the lip movements. So what ended up happening is these actors were butt-fucked in trying to match it as best they could. That's why when Yuna comes out at the very first cutscene, she's like, I've done it. I have become a summoner. That's why she talks like that, because she had to match the lips, and the original Japanese sounds nothing like that from the way the lips were moving.
Mm-hmm. I don't take much up from it because they are animatronic.
Yeah,
right. They move.
So that's
them.
What was really happening there.
Right.
I'm positive of it.
Okay, so there.
In which case, then at this point,
it's
then
the
we
argument.
would be Yeah, this would be the argument between Leo and Raph over whether they should storm the castle or fucking wait.
Oh, and
they don't know where the castle is.
And the
Right.
Well,
pizza
not
delivery
quite
guy on the
because
side.
they give not quite because we also see something else
The pizza
During-
delivery guy.
during the interview. April is like, I want to say a special because they ask her, how'd you escape that? She's like, well, some citizens of New York came to my aid, but I want to have a special shout out to a very special one. Thank you, Raphael. And then everyone's like, ooh.
Yep.
I think he's blushing.
Whap! Yep. He throws his fucking
maybe
sign at Donnie's turtle dick.
Turtle dick. Yeah. Could probably touch his chin, I've heard. Scientifically accurate Ninja Turtles. Look it up.
Yeah, I've seen it. But yeah, and then we see that he doesn't like because they think he's teasing them. He don't like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't like that because
it's once again, I think that he feels like he's the outside brother.
yeah, while everybody else can take the joke and that stuff, he can't.
Right.
And so then that's kind of what starts to lead into the argument with Leo.
Fight.
Kitchen.
Yep. And I like how both turtles know
Pork
that
rind.
I've got huge notes on this.
that is what I want to talk about.
I've got a
Pork
note there
rind.
too. Yep.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have never noticed it when I was a kid, but now I do as an adult. When Mikey hands Donnie the fucking pork rind, he puts it in his mouth. Does the actor eat it?
You know, I was wondering how they handled eating because the pizza scene also, they close the mouth and he's dragging the cheese.
Now, does the pizza, is the guy in
Do they have to constantly go in and wash the suits because the suits are eating?
Yeah, I'm curious on the...
Maybe, I think it's only like a few times where we actually see them.
But he put that pork rind in his mouth.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it slid down the mouth into the guy's mouth. I have been wondering that.
Maybe.
It's a possibility.
Believe it or not, that's the mystery right there.
Well, I was about to say, because was it Mikey that handed it to Donnie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, it could work because you see fucking Donnie's actor's face all the goddamn time. All he's got to do is and fucking wiggle the fucking face back and forth until it flips in the
But
mouth.
I like how they knew that they were about to get into a fight.
The fight between Leonardo and Raphael before Raphael leaves the group is incredibly important in more ways than I tended to realize when I was a child. Raphael has put an awful lot of admiration and dependence on Leonardo. Leonardo has always had the safety net of Master Splinter behind his decisions. Leonardo doesn't know what to do, and Raphael cannot stand the idea of doing nothing. He is demanding that Leonardo make a decision, but as it stands at this current point, Leonardo does not know what to do and has no options in front of him. This is what is actually driving the irritation between these two. Leonardo doesn't like the idea of sitting on his ass either, but doesn't have a legitimate strategy that he can pull from, while at the exact same time, Raphael is honestly disappointed that Leonardo has yet to make any real decisions to move them forward. This causes both of them to lash at each other for very different reasons, but the outcome of the fight remains the same.
Yep.
Fine, we don't need you.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm going. Good.
We don't need you.
Yeah. Which is like I said, Raph is like, hey, let's go fucking pound pavement and pound people into the pavement until somebody starts fucking talking. And Leo's like, no, we just need to fucking wait. The news report's out. April will fucking stir up some trouble.
Well, I mean,
wait.
Who would you go punch? Like, they have no leads. None at all. They have no idea. They don't even know who these ninja guys are.
And that's the problem. Raph is thinking...
Raph's like, let's go beat the shit out of everybody until somebody says something.
So, what do you got next?
I also say, at this point is when I made my note, paying attention to Michelangelo, I have discovered something else, that Michelangelo is the kind of person that would rather ignore the situations in front of him and the severity of those situations. At this point, I have to skip a little bit. He is the first one to mention that they should leave the room when the fight is going down, and he purposely ignored the severity of the question as to what it would be like when his father was gone. He smiles and makes jokes and offers pork rinds to his brother that was smart enough to know not to get involved in the battle that was taking place, and what it's important but I think it's important to acknowledge the idea that Michelangelo might not just be the party guy or the heart of the group, but he could very well be the one that is avoiding maturity on purpose, which is a different kind of character flaw altogether and changes every single idea I've ever had on Michelangelo to this day moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So Raph leaves and goes up to the roof.
Which, conveniently, Casey Jones is on a rooftop.
Fucking with the radio, and he's like, "Fuck is that? I see something." Like, is that 6 blocks over?
Yeah,
Hold on,
I noticed
let me
that.
get my binoculars.
When he's like messing with the radio and he just turns his head real quick and he's like,
Is that?
"What is that way the fuck over there?"
Green is Casey's favorite color.
Yeah,
he can
apparently.
see green.
Yeah, so then he grabs his binocular.
Unlike me, I don't know what the fuck that is.
He's sitting there like, I think there's something on that roof. I don't know. And then so he grabs his binoculars, takes a look, and he sees Raph
It's
kicking
that guy.
the
It's
air.
that thing.
The very first thing Raphael does when he gets to the roof is say, "Damn."
He says that a lot.
Again.
I think that what is going on here is that he doesn't want to leave his brothers, and he never meant to attack Leonardo. But as he's already had a couple minutes to walk away from the situation and think about how now he realizes what he has done, he can't just go back because he doesn't want to seem weak. But at the same time, he hates himself for having done what he has just done and has forced himself to leave the group the way he did. He also realizes that this will put a damper on his relationship with Leonardo, possibly for the rest of his life. This is also why he doesn't... This is also why he knows exactly where the turtles are, but does not run directly for them when he finds himself surrounded by Foot Clan.
Well, you know Raph is never going to back down from a fight.
And, of course, in order to push the lone wolf angry turtle idea, they gave one of Leonardo's most significant historical moments to Raphael. This is still a decision that I believe to this day I do not agree with at all. Sure, it helps to push the movie in a specific fashion, but Leonardo went up on that roof and fought the foot soldiers and ended up in a bathtub. It would have given him a chance. It would have given Raphael the ability to grow as a person. It would have given the Turtles the very first moment without leadership in their entire life. There is no Master Splinter. There is no Leonardo. At this point, it would be completely up to them to fend for themselves and understand just what that leadership meant to the team and what they will have to do to be their own person from this point moving forward, developing every single turtle instead of only developing Raphael.
To be fair, it would also have given Raphael the opportunity to give it a shot. We know later on they give him a chance at leadership, and it doesn't turn out very well. But this could have given him the first glimpse of him being like, because you know Mikey and Donnie might actually look to Raph for advice now. And Raph would have to be like, shit.
Right.
Now what do I do?
Right.
Because he feeds off Leo. He needs Leo. They're the two sides of the same coin.
Right.
And he needs that's why they have the unbreakable bond.
Mm-hmm.
But without Leo, they didn't do that. And like I said, when you told me in the comics it was Leo, because I always thought it was just Raph because Hothead needs to leave the room. I know what it's like to be mad and have to leave the room. I've never been attacked by 50s foot soldiers, and if I did,
Never been attacked by 50 foot
I mean,
soldiers.
we could arrange that.
but then they need to throw me through Bill's window. Don't put me in a bathtub. I'm not a turtle.
Probably go to a hospital.
Yeah,
in
you
this
take me to
case.
the hospital. Don't put me. They're like, he'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Let me
I don't
splash
know-
some
I
water
don't
on his
know,
arm.
Like, what is this magical
Shane,
fucking water?
Shane, I don't know which
Fucking super
which
commie
insurance
drink.
plan. But Shane, which insurance plan did you sign up for at work?
I have Blue Cross.
Okay, so yeah, we can take you to the hospital then.
Yeah.
We just gotta be careful as to which hospital.
Yeah.
Because there's the 2 in town, and the one we'd be better off putting you in the fucking bathtub.
Yeah, don't take me to
So-
peek. If you take me to Pekin, I will go to the bathtub.
I kind of have an interesting question as far as
What's up?
the foot attack on Raphael. Well, probably the whole foot attack on everyone.
Yeah, this is the huge fucking moment here.
How many foot soldiers are there?
Probably
Well,
around
that's what I mean.
200.
You're looking at New York City, and he's collecting dumb fucking children.
Look about how many
Yeah.
people were in the warehouse.
Dumb, angry, teenage, going through puberty, hate their fucking lives
but
and
not all of
parents'
them
children.
were.
Not
Foot
all of them were
soldiers.
foot, but there was a lot of them there.
Yeah.
Now, and remember, April's apartment
And
is
once
very...
he gets you, look, once he gets you as a kid, he's had 15 years. 15 years to collect 1 year at a time, 16-year-olds that now grow into 30-year-old men. And these 30-year-old men have already dedicated to the idea that this guy made my life better. I'll fucking straight up die for him.
Yep. So, and remember, it made it look even worse because the size of April's apartment is small. Yeah. The fact that there was a lot of guys coming through the doors, the windows and shit made it look worse than it actually probably was.
Considering the fact that on the roof he was probably fighting like 25, 30 dudes.
And he took out about 10
most of them.
He took out, I want to say he took out close to
come on.
Maybe
how are you guys supposed to beat me?
Yeah.
And then
good answer.
And then
good answer.
More show up and he's like, good answer. That's how you can take me out. That's how you can take me out.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem right there.
Like, okay.
And yet he didn't look for an opening and run to his brothers because he feels like he can't. He put himself here.
Yeah.
And he's going to straight up battle to that bitter end.
And the fact that, if they are fighting him, they know where this building is, so he might be able to take out some of the
And
foot
not
soldiers.
only that, I think also subconsciously, he probably doesn't realize it, if I keep them busy, they won't hurt my brothers.
It could be another idea like that, too.
But then you get the problem of, so where is Raphael? I don't know. He could drop in on us any mix.
Perfectly timed.
Well, then.
You ever feel like the universe just kind of wrote lines for you to say? I don't know. It's just
And who was the first turtle to go up to Raph? It was Leo. Leo ran to his brother, now who is unconscious, barely alive.
Checked him and said, he's...
Which he has enough time to check him because, fellow chucker, eh?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and I think that's a little bit... I think as soon as this dude started doing some nunchucks, Mike is not incredibly stupid. I think Mike held the attention as long as he could to give them a second to situate Raph.
Yeah.
Because there's no other reason for that scene to take place. And for Don to walk around with this big, stupid grin.
Yeah, because Donnie...
Just keep paying attention to what's happening over here.
Because you saw it. The second that guy pulled out nunchucks, he took a step back like, okay, this is Mikey's moment. I'm a bow staff user. I don't know how to swing those.
Yeah,
bitches.
no, he takes a step back, gets the big grin like he's the fucking hype man for the fucking rap battle. Just, like that type of shit. Keep practicing.
A fellow chucker.
Well, see, even then, like, it even happens that way, too. He's fucking spinning it around the one fucking finger. Keep practicing, and then he fucking... puts the chucks to a fucking stop, and here comes
Donnie.
Donnie.
The first fucking guy over those chucks.
Donnie
had been watching the situation. Leo was tending to Raph. April was trying to find a vantage point.
Leo was probably staking out how many and where as well.
But because Donnie's so intelligent, he's like...
Donnie was watching and was like, well, if Mike has their attention, I'm going to let this play out.
And the second that...
And he positioned himself, because he was standing next to Mike. And then he was like,
he was near
I'm
Mikey.
just going to kind of move this way.
And the second he realized that Foot Clan does not have the nunchucking skills that his brother has, he's like... And because Mikey knew it, too, because I think, didn't Mikey, duck?
It was kind of planned. You could tell that something went down... Almost like, you know how, they just kind of must have glanced at each other and been like, we're going to try something here. I'm gonna buy time.
This could have been practice, because I told you, these two seem to share a really strong bond.
I think it was Don is smart enough to know that Mikey is buying time. Mikey is not dumb enough to think we're going to have a fucking dance-off.
Yeah. He knows that this is serious now.
Right.
Fuck, I remember.
And even Mikey makes jokes during serious situations to keep it lighthearted.
Look.
Help you keep the morale.
Look, the same shit happened to me and Bill once. Me, Bill, and Jeremy. We got done doing sabers up at the park. We went to Pizza Hut. We ate. Yep. We're getting ready to go. This dude pulls up drunker than fuck on a bicycle. Fucking stops, talking, shaking hands, acting all cool. We go to give the dude a ride. He fucking... checks Jeremy into the side of the fucking car, and they start fucking fighting, and Bill's girlfriend at the time runs up and jumps on the dude's back trying to wham, 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 and me and Bill both look at each other like, fucking what?
What just took place here?
And then I fucking shrugged my shoulders, and I walk over and start trying to fight this dude.
But then you guys had that secret look where Bill is looking at Seth like, you're fat, go sit on him.
No, technically we both looked at each other like, what the fuck is going on here?
But at the end
I just kind of shrugged like, all right,
but at the end of the day, Seth sat on that man.
He really did.
Yes, I did.
But then Seth made
because I'm 350 pounds of man. Get me the fuck up.
But then Seth made the mistake of listening to said man.
No, I made the mistake of listening to his friend who rode by.
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
He's tapped. He's done. Get the fuck off of him. And I said, okay.
And then he knocked your lights out.
And I said, wham! And I was like, fucking what?
During the fight with the Foot, where everything falls apart, they get chased out of the city. Leonardo is more interested in defending the point where Raphael is, looking for a way out and analyzing the surroundings. Case in point, he was the very first one to look directly at Casey Jones during his entrance. All the other turtles looked around the room, and the Foot soldiers also seemed strangely confused and interested in what they were primarily doing, rather than the fact that somebody new had just entered the fray. He was also the very first one at the trapdoor helping April, and he was the one that helped Raphael and April get out of the door first. As a credit to the idea that a captain goes down with his ship, he was also the last one through the trapdoor, as he guaranteed his team went through first. As for Casey Jones, he don't know that fucking guy.
I'll cover you.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, here's the thing. I also want to...
And this is after two quick notes for me. This fight is a lot of backyard wrestling 101 and a lesson on the importance of insurance. After rewatching this while I was working on my apartment, I was like, fuck, I need renter's insurance. Who the fuck do I need to call?
You want to get that regardless of watching the Turtle movie.
True, but it reminded me.
He's right.
Now
where I'm living at, apparently it burnt the fuck down.
But here's the problem. Does your insurance cover the fact that a bunch of army people named the Foot Clan broke into your house to fight 4 giant turtles?
I have fire, flooding, and theft, so yes.
Okay.
Fire, yeah, there you go.
Fire.
Because there was a fire.
Yep, fire.
Okay, but now I want to point out, there's something I noticed. Did you
Fire
guys,
by stupid motherfuckers with axes.
Did you guys notice something during that escape scene? I noticed it when I watched it,
Which part?
and I was curious. When everybody finally went through the trap door, after Casey went in and they shut it,
Yeah.
the Foot Clan runs up to the trap door. They know it's a trap door, and they're like...
And like one guy with a sword like pokes it, pink, pink, and he's like, I can't get in
The
there. I
other
don't
guy
know.
literally just does this.
Yeah, he just stood next to it.
And staring at him like,
How do
guys,
these things work?
So they're like the dancing foot soldiers in the second movie.
right, just push it.
How does this thing work
I
now?
noticed that. I'm like, you guys are dumb.
That one guy with the sword ran up and was like, poke, poke, twice, and he was like, it doesn't open. I don't know what.
I don't know how they did it. Let's get the fuck out of here before we burn alive.
Now,
know how
the name of the antique store, second time around antiques, was that in the original comic line, or was that just something that was brought in this? And
The antiques? No, the antiques were not. That I can remember when the New York thing goes down, when the fire happened, it was not an antique thing.
Okay.
That was just like her apartment.
because I know
And the whole complex went down. I actually think people die in that. It's unspoken, but that's an apartment complex that fucking burned to the ground. Not like her living above some fucking
Her family's
antique
antique
shit.
store.
Yeah.
yeah, but I think the antique store, the second time around antiques, comes up in the 2003 cartoon, if I remember right.
It wouldn't surprise me if
Yeah.
they, because they were pulling from movie, comics, and cartoon, kind of creating their own hybrid story.
So
during
the next,
2003.
they're on their way to.
Yeah, they get into a Volkswagen van.
By the way, I have a question. This van kind of looks familiar to me. I know Donnie and them have a turtle wagon.
Yeah.
Do they modify that
No.
van? Because it looks
No.
very similar.
That van breaks down when they get to the ranch.
I know, but
Yeah.
but Donnie, but eventually, Donnie becomes a fucking tech man, and he can fix everything. But they make that what's on Seth's shirt. They make that, and it looks like the Volkswagen.
Right. No, I think that's just a nod.
Okay,
I think
yeah,
that's
okay.
what it
Yeah.
is. It's not that will ever become like
Okay,
they ever
I
had an
didn't know.
idea. But it's definitely a nod, because that is the kind of van that
Yeah,
would
the
have been
shape, yeah.
remodified.
Right.
And then we get, I think it's at this point where we kind of go into when Danny first meets Splinter.
Yep, around that.
Yes.
Yes. During this time,
I think Shredder gets upset because they got away, and
okay, this is interesting. I watched this 4 times before I made this decision. Before I really decided what I thought about Shredder and this moment specifically. The Shredder is not mad because his men were defeated. That is petty and low and far below the Shredder's attention. He could lose 1,000 men and never bat an eye because none of these people mean anything to him. 15 years ago, he went to America as a shadow warrior and killed Hamato Yoshi and the woman that refused his hand. For whatever reason, he never went home. He saw an opportunity in America and built a clan which he called the Foot. This clan is built from people with martial arts talent that can be forged into weapons, but have no actual meaning to him whatsoever. This is why it's composed of children and morons that are more than willing to follow the rants of a psychotic madman. He is mad because fighting styles are like fingerprints. Everybody's mind works differently, and the way we fight depends very much on our personality, or instruction, or ability to adapt to our overall personalities at large. Mm-hmm. The description of techniques and abilities that the turtles possess, and the way they utilize them triggers him to immediately know that something in his past is haunting him. Somehow, some way, the business that he came to America to finish 15 years ago is not yet done. Mm-hmm. And somewhere in the back of his mind, he knows Hamato Yoshi is still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
he goes straight for Splinter. Splinter mimicked Yamato Yoshi. Is it Yamato or
Hamato? Hamato.
Hamato.
But the H is barely pronounced because it's Japanese. It's Hamato.
I always thought it was Yamato. Why?
Hamato.
Hamato Yoshi, and then he trained the turtles in his form. So basically, the turtles are fighting.
It's American Japanese. Okay, we're going to put it that way because, of course, these guys they picked the name because it quote sounded Japanese. Yeah. That is literally why they chose those names. They were like, what's the bad guy? Saki. He needs a first name, Oroko. And in America, he was very much Oroko Saki. But since we've done the Sentai review and I've got shit on time and time and time again about the R's, I've taught myself to say it as if he really did have a Japanese name. His name is Oroko Saki.
Oroko.
No R. It's like an L. Oroko. Oroko Saki.
It's like saying Oloko.
There would be no R because if his name was actually Japanese.
It's like that, but
yeah.
Oloko Saki.
Kind of like how he's Butts from the town of Licks.
Mike. Oh, I'm just talking to you guys without.
Yes, you definitely were.
Dumbass.
But
which is going to make that part real interesting.
Yeah, no shit.
But
and this is going to be a hell of a YouTube. It's going to be 3 YouTubes. We're covering massive time here.
Yeah, we're nearly 3 hours.
Shit. All right, well, here's what I say we do. I say we actually hit pause on this, because it's hotter than a motherfucker up in here. I'm pretty sure everybody else needs a piss break, because I know I do too. So I say we hit pause.
Are
give
we
this
stopping
like 3
you two?
seconds.
You know what? Let's just stop here at the point where they've escaped the city.
Yeah, they've escaped the city. Let's not call this the end of the episode. Let's just pause this, like actually hit the pause button, and we'll be right back.
Hey guys, I know you're about to get your podcast on, so I'll be quick. If at any time you feel like dropping your own opinion into what we're talking about, head on over to fandomnight.com, and all of the contact information for every single one of our shows, including the one you're about to watch, is there. Alright guys, I'll leave you alone. Okay, so let's continue the notes here. Right after we just finished talking about how the Shredder is mad.
Shredder was upset and stuff.
During that mad moment, he looks at Tatsu. There's only one other Shadow Warrior, in my belief, amongst the Foot, and that is Tatsu. He admires that the Shredder picked him personally and admires the fact that he has been given his own personal army to instruct. Tatsu was mad at the failure of his men, unlike the Shredder, as it reflects on a failure for him, and he is even more mad that the Shredder is now looking questioningly on him and the decision that was made 15 years ago to give him command of that army. In his rage, he kills a member of the Foot. At this point, Tatsu beats a member of the Foot to death. It was fixed in post with editing by adding coughing and the words, "You'll be all right, it's going to be all right." In truth, that person was beat to death, and this is the first time that these kids have ever seen the type of discipline and severe lifestyle choices that they have made by involving themselves in a Shadow Warrior organization. It is also the very first time that Tatsu has actually looked at these kids and realized that they are, in fact, not Shadow Warriors. They are children.
Yep. Because originally, like, Shredder, like you said, he's not even pissed. He was like, something about this seems familiar.
Something from the past.
And
Yes.
he kind of gives him this look and tells he's like, man, whatever.
He's
and
mad.
then he goes
To the rat and he's like,
"Motherfucker."
"Who are they? Why do they know how to fight like this? I want to know, because if he's still alive, he's coming for me and he's sending whatever the fuck you things are to get me, right? That's what's going on here? That's exactly what's going through his mind. 15 years ago, he killed a Shadow Warrior who was just as good, if not his better, over a woman. And if he failed to actually do so, if there was even the slightest chance that Hamato Yoshi survived that assault, maybe this dude's still alive, maybe this dude taught monsters, and maybe these monsters are being sent after me as punishment for the death of that woman. I'm positive that's on his mind.
Yep.
And the rat won't talk. But you notice he doesn't kill the rat. He keeps threatening to, but he doesn't kill it because it's the only fucking link he has to get any information. So he'll let it starve, he'll let it suffer, but he won't actually let it die because it's the only thing that can give him an answer.
Yep.
He needs to know if Hamato Yoshi is out there.
And I did put it in my notes. I was right. It was Leo is the one who was standing over the dude who's dead. So I was right. Like I said, I just couldn't fucking remember. So it's a good thing I put it in the notes.
Yeah, and that dude that was beat down, that dude was killed.
Yep.
And if you're watching, he kicks that dude, hits that dude, and when he backhands him, he broke his neck. That was what was supposed to happen.
Yep.
Because that dude goes, "Ugh!" and then his sound stops and he hits the ground. And he does not move. They add heavy breathing, coughing, and some, "You're going to be all right." Look at that actor that's lying on the ground. He's dead.
Yep.
They fixed it because they were going to get an R rating.
I was going to say, normally, yeah, when you say originally he was dead, yeah, his eyes aren't blinging at all.
Yeah,
so
he's fucking dead.
Okay, in which case... Then
the
we
ranch?
Go, yep, the ranch, and everybody fucking hanging out and doing shit.
Casey's a mechanic. That's kind of handy.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the farm, the turtles find themselves immensely out of their element. They all handle this in different ways, but the fact of the matter is that country life is the farthest thing from reality for that the turtles have ever experienced. They didn't just grow up city kids. They grew up New York City kids. And for 15 years, they have known nothing but skyscrapers, dark alleyways, and sewers. And if you're paying attention, all their personalities go through changes and difficulties during these country sequences.
Yep.
Like Donnie and Casey's interactions.
Yep.
Thank you for putting me there.
Yep.
I have yet to really talk about Donatello. This is because without making him a technophile, you really have to dig to see that he is the turtle that he's supposed to be. He's lived his entire life in a sewer, scavenging technology, which means while he enjoys it and definitely is the most learned turtle in the group, he hasn't actually had a chance to work on much. He spends an awful lot of time with Casey Jones during this time because their old truck, farm equipment, and different kinds of carpentry and electric level things that would need to be done around the house simply needs to be done. This is a part where Donatello really gets a chance to shine, as when they play board games, he is often the intelligent one that's winning things on the curb for all trivia games. Mm-hmm. He also spends a lot of time, mostly with the mechanically inclined person, learning everything he can because that's what he enjoys, and it helps him to put the reality of what is going on out of his mind.
Yep.
That's why he's spending so much time with Casey Jones.
Because Casey knows about automobiles and stuff like that.
And while it's neat to be able to read about it, which is the only thing he could actually have done in a sewers, he's never actually got to work on stuff.
Yeah, nobody really throws a car down a sewer.
Right.
Yeah.
So while he might have been able to fix things he found and he's learned things and he's read technical manuals and he's into that shit and he probably watches like some learning channels and car shows and shit, he's never got to actually do it.
Yep.
So this is a way to distance himself from the reality of what's happening, and he latches on to Casey
Splinter's
Jones,
missing.
which is different. You've been mentioning something. Mikey is who Donnie hangs out with. Donnie's hanging out with Casey. I'm going to talk something about Mikey that I realized that I never noticed as a kid.
Yeah. And much to your point, that's the other reason why it is. Start it up. Run. Jump. Ah, fuck!
Yeah.
Crashes through the back wall.
You don't know how
It
no
works.
trucks
Works.
Oh,
Yeah.
And they're also playing it. They're actually playing a pretty smart game.
Yeah.
If you're paying attention, they're insulting each other in alphabetical
here
order.
goes Zach. Zach?
No.
Gag face?
Hose head, gack face, barf breath,
Elf lips.
yeah, elf lips,
What letter are we on?
G.
Yep.
All
Yeah,
right,
here
that-
goes.
gack face, yeah.
That's a hard game to play, by the way, if you've never played it. It's hard to
Insulting
keep
people in
going.
alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Yes.
The fact that Donnie can do it because of his high intelligence. And let's be real. Everybody knows that Casey Jones is unstable. Just because one is unstable does not make one... not in this movie.
Yeah, I was about to say yes and no.
Hit-
Technically speaking, according to a conversation he has with April, he used to be a professional baseball player, at least
Yeah,
on
hockey
the minor
player.
league.
Hockey.
Or,
Hockey.
sorry. But
Actually
yeah, he
went
used
pro.
to play. Yeah, he used to do semi-pro.
Until he got hurt.
Then he got hurt. So then all he had time to do was sit around and, much like Crazy Casey
Hate.
in the comics, was sit around and fucking watch TV and
But here's
hate
the thing.
people.
And hate people. And he started to hate the world that he was involved in.
Yeah.
And he had no outlet for that aggression. A lot like Raphael,
Yeah.
he took to the streets.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Just because he is an unstable person in the comics, in this movie, not really that unstable.
He's
a little-
They caught him on the verge of it. I think he's already gone through his darkest point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now,
I
now
think
he has
it's
people...
probably the meeting Raphael part where things are starting to turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that now he has friends.
Yeah.
And now, but Casey's not stupid. But technically he could be when we get a little bit later on when he doesn't understand what a word is.
Dude, I thought that was fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
When Raphael wakes up, when Raphael wakes up, Leonardo still feels responsible for what happened. But the reason Raphael tells him don't
Leo,
is because
don't.
Raphael is every bit as responsible for what took place, and he knows this.
Yep.
This is
Once
the
again, Raph creates his own hell.
This is kind of the turnaround for Raph. If you've noticed, they work more as a team now.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
I was telling Bill earlier, Leo, the unbreakable bond between Raph and Leo.
Mm-hmm.
While all the other turtles and Casey and April may have come up to check on Raph, Leo never left his side.
Yeah, he kept
Leo
watch over him all the time.
Yeah.
Two things are going through Leo's mind. My brother could die, and I failed him as a leader.
Right.
I let him walk out the door.
I failed him.
Yeah.
Sure, I was mad. We fought, but I let him walk out that door. I couldn't handle the fight situation. It's my fault as a leader. I didn't keep us together, and I didn't go after him. I was too mad. I was too self-absorbed in that moment.
If he would have went after Raph, they probably could have two turtles could have handled that situation up there.
a lot better than
Yeah, a
they
lot
did,
better.
that's for
Yeah.
damn
And because
sure.
Leo is the better fighter,
Mm-hmm.
even though I hate to say that because I am a huge Raph fan, Leo's the better fighter. They probably would not have been thrown through a fucking window.
Right. Exactly.
He probably would have thrown some of the foot soldiers through the window. But
So he
Before I
feels
go to Mikey, do we have anybody else? You got some stuff?
I got
the little flirtation between April and Casey.
They were playing off that
Yeah.
here. And we don't know how much time passes. It could be a couple of months.
I think actually they did kind of say something.
Do
Tatsu tells Shredder they have not been seen in days.
Yeah, he says for
Yeah.
many days.
and the
So
kid.
But it can't just be days.
Okay,
it
well, how about
seems
this?
like some real time.
Actually,
passed.
that's one thing I brought up is like I wonder how long they've been on this ranch before going.
I'm going to go
back.
ahead. I'm going to go ahead and say a couple of
Right.
weeks. Couple weeks.
Maybe give him 3 weeks.
Well, I mean, long enough where, because to piggyback off Bill's thing earlier, where, they're city kids and nowhere near the farm. I can't remember if it's Mikey or if it ends up being Donnie, but one of them, you see him, walking around out front of the house.
That's Donnie.
And you hear the sound of, a fly buzzing around, and
that
was Leo at the very start. At the very start.
Is that on the side of the house?
Yeah, he says, and then he steps on something. He's like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, and then he starts looking around like there's a fucking bug buzzing around.
And then later, Donnie starts wearing a cowboy hat and shit.
Yeah.
See, once again, on the side of the house, I thought it was Donnie. Can't tell between blue and purple.
What is going on?
Let's see.
I just couldn't remember who
they didn't have their weapons.
I know I got
that started messing you up.
I got a few weird notes here. One of which is I think we talked about this already. Is Mikey shouting like Raphael on top of the rooftop.
Yeah, because of the voice acting, they gave that to Raphael, and it was very obviously
Mike.
You could see the fucking nunchucks on the character. That was Mikey yelling at the moon.
Yeah, and the turtle wax, was that just because it was turtle wax?
I think it's just a dumb joke.
Yeah, I think it's a throwaway joke because April comes in rubbing at her, oh god, my shoulders. He's like, hold on, let me, I'll just fucking rub you. And then Mikey comes in oh god, I'm sore and dying. And they look up and she goes to hand him ointment. Pulls out the turtle wax, pours that.
Funny Mikey,
because you're a turtle and it's turtle.
Yep,
clever.
Oh, this is witty.
And then I think it's this where Leo starts connecting to Splinter.
Okay. Well, before we get there, what are the reasons April does not talk about Michelangelo in her recap of time spent in the countryside? This is because Michelangelo wasn't spending time with anybody. Mm-hmm. For the first time in his life, he is growing up and facing the realistics of what is happening around him. These situations are no longer in a place where he can be ignored, where they can be ignored by him, and he has to face them. He is dealing with self-hatred, anxiety, and difficulties due to the fact that he never decided to mature in his younger years and played a game that came back to bite him in the ass. We see two major scenes here. One, where he is aggressively punching a punching bag by himself in a barn. This may have been some kind of space that he put down for himself and is avoiding his brothers at large as he works out his own aggression and madness. Later, he is seen screaming at the moon in desperation at the situation at hand that he has no control over and is finally, for the first time in his life, forced to face head-on rather than ignore it and it will go away. Things will always be the same and I will always come out on top because I always have somebody watching me. This is no longer a truth in his life and he has no choice but to face it at this moment in the solitude of the countryside.
That question that Donnie asked him early in the movie. You ever think about what would happen if Splinter was gone? Splinter's gone.
Yep.
And you don't know if your brother's going to make it.
Yep.
It is also important to point out during this scene that Raphael is the voice that can be heard screaming at the moon, but this is a load of bullshit. Pause the movie. That guy has nunchucks.
Yep.
And as we all know, while Raphael has mastered the nunchucks, he prefers a gardening tool.
Now, the part you're talking about where
Leo first starts meditating.
Actually starts meditating in the countryside, the peacefulness of it. He's putting himself together. He's getting back on track. Raphael is up and moving. He's starting to refocus. And he comes across a vision.
They're doing their training montage.
Yeah, this little training montage.
That's after.
The vision.
That's after the vision.
Okay.
More proof to my mentioning about the countryside issues with Michelangelo is that he increases in skill more than any one of them during the countryside era. During this battle scene, we see different turtles wearing blindfolds. Case to understand here, as I played this in slow motion and watched the blindfolds unfold. Something I noticed that kind of irritated me is that Donatello does not wear the blindfold even once. Leonardo starts with the blindfold, but Michelangelo has the most scenes wearing the blindfold during this time. showing us that during this point, he spent an awful lot of time with himself, serioused up, and definitely increased his skills, and is taking this a lot more serious than he ever has.
It's because we already know this. Skill gap-wise, Mikey is, unfortunately, while he has mastered the difficult weapon to master, the nunchucks, he is the least skilled at fighting. Even Donnie. You all think that Donnie, because of his braininess, the fact that he wants to think things ahead before actually fighting, he uses a bow staff. I've swung a bow staff. It's not really hard. I mean, I'm not fucking master at it. I hit my head with nunchucks before, so I can't do that.
Right. No, I'm pretty sure all of us who have fucked around with them have.
I have hit my...
I'm just glad
Bill's
that when
fucking black wood ones, I was like, whoa, look at me, I'm Bruce Lee. No, I'm not Bruce Lee. I'm not Bruce Lee.
I wasn't that dumb. I was at least smart enough to use his foam padded training ones.
Well, the foam pad ones, I hit my head, but it didn't.
Right.
So I'm like,
It says, "Oh, I'm not Bruce Lee."
I cannot be Bruce Lee. I hit my head.
I had a pair of metal ones, but I sold them back
That's good
Right.
because if I hit my head,
because I hurt myself with those.
but
Oh, fuck
But-
me!
Yeah.
the Mikey wearing the blindfold most is because the gap between each turtle. Leo is up here. Raph, Donnie, Mikey's back here.
Often seems that way.
He needs to catch up at least to
But
Donnie's level.
I think that there's proof in these scenes. I played them in slow motion, watched some of it,
And Leo was
he's-
like one of the last ones that was blindfolded
Yeah,
during the montage.
But Mikey has the most blindfolded
Now,
scenes.
Does Mikey pick up shit quickly? Yes. In fact, he caught up to the rest of them in skill gap in just a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Meaning that he is intelligent. He really is. He's just a goofball.
Right.
Now Leonardo goes to that thing we were talking about.
Where he
sees
sits ab-
Splinter and goes and tells him.
Yep.
And then they sit by the fire.
Oh,
Yeah.
also
Because
during
they're
this,
in the middle of playing like
War-
Trivial
yeah.
Pursuit or whatever.
yeah,
And Donatello, that's that scene.
Yeah, where he's winning.
just fucking straight
Yeah,
pounds
because
it out.
Raph is reading a question that I think I'm a pretty smart guy when it comes to history and shit. Fuck if I know.
You were like, I got nothing.
But-
and
Yeah.
he's even smug about it too. He starts thinking about it halfway through the question, like, I already know this shit. Like, and he's like, War and Peace.
I was like,
I'm just gonna go ahead and take my turn. I already fucking know I'm right.
Right.
I don't want to play Trivial Pursuit with fucking Donnie. He'll beat me.
Yep.
Yep.
I know during the, well, I guess during the meditation with all four of the turtles, I noticed Mikey's belt was really digging in on the costumes. I don't know if that was an
There
issue.
was a lot of wear and tear, and these costumes were massively used, all the fighting and different shit like that. And we don't know the order that films are not shot chronologically, ever.
A lot of
Yeah.
movies film
There's-
the ending first.
Yep. Sometimes they'll do the fight scenes like they'll do the fight scenes all first, and then they'll do all the technical stuff, and then they'll do the stuff they
example
need,
is Game of Death. They did all the fight scenes with Bruce Lee, and then they added the horrible cardboard cutouts after he died, and the crappy "I'm Bruce Lee," but that's clearly not Bruce Lee.
Well, like,
scenes
there
in
are things.
between.
There are things that happen where, like, the fourth scene of the movie is like the last fucking shot they did.
Brandon
Yeah.
Lee's
The last
film,
day.
The Crow, they filmed the ending first.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
scene
so
where
there's-
the scene where he gets shot out of the window is obviously exactly the bullet that killed him.
Yep.
Yes.
I believe, or was it
It's
during
when-
the?
I want to say
It was
it's when
during
he
that
takes,
shootout.
Was it during the shootout? At
No.
No.
No, it was the
It's,
guy. It was the one gun in the movie that was guaranteed to point directly at him. That's why there's so much controversy in it. It was when the guys kill his wife and shit like that, rape his wife, and then hold him like this, and that guy points the gun at him and fires, and he goes to his knees. No. I think that's supposed to be acted, and they accidentally really hit him. It's
No.
not during the big shootout.
I could have sworn what it was it was actually when he's hanging out with damn it, what's the name, the fucking the party boy or whatever the fuck his name is.
Look it up. What scene
Yeah,
was he
I'm gonna have
actually
to.
shot?
Because I could have sworn that's what it's Fun
Look
Boy.
up what scene he was actually shot. I'm almost positive it's in the apartment. The one gun that was guaranteed to be pointed directly at him happened to be the one that had something real in it. Hey guys, did you like that podcast? If so, remember to check out fandomnight.com. At fandomnight.com, you can drop a line to this show, or you could check out other podcasts as well. We cover all kinds of topics, everything from comic books, wrestling, movies, TV shows, video games, animes, mangas. It's outrageous. We seem to have a podcast for just about everything, and you have access to it just by going over to fandomnight.com. So check it out, guys. We're going to get out of here.